And as we just informed you, South Korean President Moon Jae-in is attending his visit to India, and it's day 2 of his visit. Let's get you these live visuals from Rashtrapati Bhawan in New Delhi as President Moon Jae-in has just arrived. As you can see, he is being warmly welcomed by President Ram Nath Kovind, along with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He will soon be accorded the Presidential Guard of Honor, and along with President Ram Nath Kovind is also the First Lady of India, Savita Kovind, who is here to receive the South Korean President. It is day 2 of the South Korean President in India, and as we all are aware, he has a packed schedule on day 2 of his India visit, and today is the day when we are expecting Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold delegation level talks with his South Korean counterpart in New Delhi, and a number of agreements are expected to be signed after the talks. The leaders will also address the India-South Korea CEOs roundtable today, and some agreements expected to be signed. It will be in the evening that Moon Jae-in will also be hosted for a banquet by President Ram Nath Kovind, and the banquet is expected to take place in the evening at the Rashtrapati Bhawan. India and South Korea are also likely to revise and sign an updated comprehensive economic partnership agreement. And these are live visuals coming in from the Rashtrapati Bhawan. As you can see, the Guard of Honor is being bestowed upon the South Korean President. The ceremonial reception has just taken place for South Korean President Moon Jae-in, and this is day 2 of his India visit. As you can see, the red carpet has been rolled for the South Korean President, and India-South Korea's delegation level talks are all set to take place today. Earlier, we also saw visuals of South Korean President Moon Jae-in being welcomed by President Ram Nath Kovind and the First Lady Savita Kovind, along with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. I am now also joined in by our senior international correspondent, Mr. Ramesh Ramachandran, who joins me on the phone line. Ramesh, run us through Moon Jae-in's visit to India. We are expecting a series of high delegation level talks. What can we expect to emerge out of these talks today?
Good morning, Akanksha. So what we are seeing now is the ceremonial reception in the forecourt of Rashtrapati Bhawan, where President Moon Jae-in is being given the ceremonial Guard of Honor. Now, this marks the official end of, or the business end of his 4-day state visit to India, his first to India since becoming the President of South Korea in the middle of last year. After this ceremonial reception, President Moon Jae-in will be meeting with the Indian Vice President, followed by the delegation level talks with Prime Minister Modi. That will be followed by a joint press statement and signing of agreements. In the afternoon, both leaders will be present at the India-South Korea CEOs Roundtable, and the day's engagement will be culminating with a banquet hosted by the President of India, Mr. Ram Nath Kovind, in honor of the visiting dignitary. So today is the third day of President Moon's 4-day state visit to India. Yesterday, he met with Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj and also took part in the India-South Korea Business Forum.
Right. Ramesh, we can see that Moon Jae-in, he's being greeted by a lot of dignitaries over here, along with Indian Prime Minister, and the cabinet ministers are also present. Let's breathe in those visuals for our viewers at the moment.
Wait. Excuse me. Excuse me. Mobile, please. Mobile. Excuse me. Show me. 핸드폰 좀 보여줘. 모바일. 핸드폰 좀. 여기 있죠? 레나.
So as we can see, Ramesh, the guard of honor has just taken place, and the cabinet ministers from India have also greeted him, along with the embassy officials that we can see he's being greeted by. As you rightly mentioned, this is his first visit to India since he became the president of South Korea. It is indeed a very, very special visit. Yesterday we saw he's inaugurated the largest Samsung factory in Noida also. So a lot can be expected between India and South Korea in terms of technology and cyber security, especially because there's been a slump in the last few years in this sector.
Indeed, India-South Korea bilateral ties straddle the entire spectrum of people-to-people ties, trade, investments, security, defense, and education, and so on and so forth. So clearly, the focus is on broadening and deepening the special strategic partnership which was signed in 2015 during the visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to South Korea. And Akanksha, if I can just brief our viewers about India's long-standing relations with South Korea. This dates back to the early 1950s.
Right.
And as we speak, President Moon and President Kovind have just posed for the photographers and making their way back to the ceremonial podium.
All right. Those are visuals of Prime Minister Moon Jae-in's guard of honor. And joining me on the phone line is our senior international correspondent, Ramesh Ramachandran. Ramesh, you were telling us about how special India and South Korea ties have been, and they actually go back a long way.
It dates back to the early 1950s and late 1940s, Akanksha. Remember, KPS Menon, a then Indian diplomat, was the chair of the 9-member United Nations Commission to supervise elections in the Korea. This was in 1947. And after that, India played a crucial role in sponsoring a resolution leading up to the ceasefire on the 27th of July 1953 between the two warring sides, South Korea and North Korea. And after that, Lieutenant General Thimaya was the chair of the Neutral Nations Repatriation Commission, which was constituted to oversee the development work on the Korean Peninsula. So India's relations with South Korea and the Korean Peninsula go a long way. And in 2010, India and South Korea signed what is known as the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or CEPA, which gave a new fillip, a new boost to bilateral trade ties. But that said, South Korea-India trade volume is far below the optimum level when we compare it with South Korea-China relations. India-South Korea trade ties amount to about $20+ billion, whereas South Korea-China trade is almost 10 times that amount. So clearly, a lot of groundwork needs to be done to boost the trade between India and South Korea.
Right. Very aptly mentioned by you that a lot of groundwork needs to be done to boost bilateral trade. between India and South Korea, and we will continue to keep coming back to you, Ramesh, for all the live coverage on President Moon Jae-in's visit to India.